welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today, entitled Mom Thinks She Can Eat for Free and Leave, now banned from our store. After that, some assembly required. Good luck. And after that, don't lie to me. You took our picture 3 hours ago. Get to it. If you stand against the entitled parents, let me know by smashing that like button. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day.
And if you want to prank your friends with a message from Karen, visit Mr. Reddit on Fiverr. Link below.
Entitled Mom Thinks She Can Eat for Free and Leave, now banned from our store. Backstory. There's a lady who will come into our store, usually around noon, with 4 annoying and loud misbehaving kids. Of course, she's completely oblivious to all of this. Yay. She would pack all of them into the cart, pick out some sort of produce, apples, bananas, oranges, etc., and give it to them to hold, and the kids would eat all of it. Then she would come up to the register and give me the whole, "Oops, sorry, I didn't even see that they did that." I would call my manager and basically ask, what the heck am I supposed to weigh? And usually they would either get the same amount of whatever produce and she would complain that she had not gotten that much, or mine was way smaller. So my manager would just wave it off and let it go. Today, she didn't get away with it because my manager and I were in a bad mood. I was quietly working at my register when I heard the parade of obnoxious kids run into the store with the lady on her phone completely ignoring them. Shocker, she piled all of them into the cart and headed straight for the produce. I continued working at my register and lost track of her until she came up to my register. She huffed and puffed at the little old lady in front of her, writing a check, while all of her children were screaming in her cart. She's still on the phone, and I hear the rude lady talking semi-quietly on her phone. Rude lady.
"Yeah, I'll be home soon. There's a slow old hag in front of me."
Thankfully, the little old lady, who is literally maybe the nicest person I've ever met, doesn't hear that well, so she had missed rude lady's comment. After hearing that, I purposefully take my sweet time processing her check and asking her how her grandchildren are doing. I finish bagging her groceries and set them in her cart. As she's pulling away, rude lady decides she's not going fast enough and actually pushes her out of the way with her cart. When the little old lady turns to look at her, she smiles smugly.
"Sorry."
The little old lady frowns and walks away. Now the real fun begins. Before she says anything, I notice that each kid has banana peels in their laps, and the youngest has banana all over their face. There's even a peel inside Rude Lady's purse. Rude Lady.
"My kids ate these. Here."
She proceeds to grab and dump all of the peels onto my register and starts to leave. Me. "Ma'am, I need some sort of payment. You can't just leave after eating all of these." Rude Lady turns and glares at me. She backs up a little.
"Just weigh the peels or something. I don't have time for this."
I glare back at her. Me. Even if I was allowed to do that, I'd need all of the peels. I gesture to the ones in her purse. Gross. She throws it at me.
"Here's your peel. Now weigh them."
Her face is getting angrier by the minute. Me. "I'll have to call for a manager." That's when I notice the organic sticker on all of the peels, which means it will be more expensive. $1.29 per pound, in fact. She slams her hand on my register as I'm about to call.
"This is ridiculous. Just weigh my hand or something."
As she's pressing her hand down, she's also squeezing the peels as hard as she can, making a huge mess of peel and banana mush. I've had it. Me. "Manager to the front, please." The manager, thankfully, was not far and came rushing up. Manager. "What can I do for you?" He sees it's this particular lady and the mess on my register. Before he can open his mouth again, she wails at him.
"Your cashier has been so rude to my family and I. All we want to do is pay for our bananas and go. She's being incredibly difficult and even made this disgusting mess."
I'm fuming at this point, and my manager is getting a little ticked off, knowing this lady is a liar, because I would never do something this childish.
What are you going to do about this for us?
I turned to my manager. Me. Her and her kids ate an entire bunch of bananas, tried to leave without paying, and when I called her out on it, she told me to weigh her hand and squished these peels. The manager nodded. Manager. Go ahead and weigh her hand. Whatever it comes out to, she can pay that. Then, she's no longer welcome in our store. Of course, she's shocked and stammering, trying to claim that I lied about the entire story, and it was nothing like that. Obviously, my manager was having none of it and told her to put her banana-covered hand back on the scale. She did, and pressed as hard as she could. Well, she's not too smart and forgot how scales work. She'd pressured it down, and it came up as about 30 pounds. Knee. And your total is going to be $38.54. Will you be using cash or card? She was completely outraged and started yelling at my manager and I, calling us crooks. Ironic. And that she'd never pay something so ridiculous. My manager threatened to call the police and report her for theft if she didn't. She screamed some more and threw two 20s at me. I gave her the change, which she snatched out of my hand and continued to scream and curse down the exit and out the door. Me. Thank you for shopping. Have a nice day. For those asking why she came through my line when she didn't plan on paying, in the backstory I provided, my manager would either grab new fruit and she would complain, or just wave it off and let it go. Basically, she would either pay less than what actually would have been owed or nothing at all. For those asking about cute little old lady, her name is Edna. I asked a coworker to text me if she saw her and if she's okay. Nothing yet. Cross your fingers. To clear up some things, no, she had nothing else except banana peels. I asked little old lady about her grandchildren and the time it took for me to process her check. Maybe 15 to 20 seconds. Next we've got some assembly required. Good luck. This happened several years ago. I was the nighttime charge nurse over the ICU. I had just finished a 12-hour shift at my hospital that had turned into a 14-hour shift because of a rapid response right before shift change. Patient responded well. I was exhausted and had to return for a fourth shift in 9 hours. All I wanted were some items to drop in the slow cooker so I'd have something to eat when I got up tonight. I stopped at a well-known big box store that sells groceries, clothes, electronics, the works. I'm wearing royal blue scrubs, a name badge with a big RN under it, and forgot to take off my stethoscope, so it's hanging around my neck. The employees here, well, don't. As I'm walking towards the store, I see an elderly couple struggling to load a large box in their SUV parked at the front of the store. And I mean old. 90 plus, shaky hands, teetering around with limited mobility. The kind I see with a med list 3 pages long. No way would his hips take the weight without snapping, and I've worked enough tonight. I approached quickly and addressed the lady of the couple, offering help. It was gladly accepted, and I got their TV loaded with very little difficulty. It was more cumbersome than heavy. I'm chatting with the woman who is explaining it's a gift for their son, and her husband hadn't wanted to wait for help. I'd wondered why an employee wasn't helping. That's when it happened. I will be RN. She will be entitled jerk. Entitled jerk.
Hey!
Startled, we stop our conversation and look over. It's a lady in her 50s, dressed in a cheap-looking beige pantsuit with a get your manager haircut, standing about 15 feet away with a hand on her overly broad hip. Entitled jerk.
If you are about done, I need help over here.
She then points to her cart with 2 boxes of bookshelves, some assembly required. I realize she thinks I work here. Me. Oh, sorry, I don't work.
You are already making me late. Just get it done, and don't scratch my paint up.
The elderly lady and I exchange looks of disbelief, and I try again. I don't work here.
Just get it done.
She then steps away from her cart to grab her purse, grumbling about
idiots,
and is digging for her keys when her cart rolls further away and one wheel goes off the curb. The entire uneven load causes the cart to topple over. I instinctively jump forward to try to prevent everything from falling. I was unsuccessful. Entitled jerk, who is now turned to see her particle board bookshelves spilled out onto the cement, corners of her boxes crushed, and one has torn open with a few pieces of packaging now exposed. Entitled Jerk completely loses it and becomes a raging thunder jerk.
What an idiot, you moron! Pick them up! Dang it! Ugh, I'm going to have you fired. You owe me new bookshelves, and I'm late.
At this point, I'm done. Pick them up yourself. I don't work here. I then turn to go inside when I feel her grab my sleeve and try to yank me around. I jerk my sleeve out of her grip and then turn to face her now violently red face. She opens her mouth to start screaming again, but I put my finger in her face and say, "No, don't touch me. Shut the heck up. I do not work here, and even if I did, I'd quit before I help you clean up your crap." Entitled Jerk stands there speechless, mouth opening and closing, sputtering in shock that I've dared raise my voice at her. That's when the manager and an employee come out, as Entitled Jerk sees the manager and finds her voice.
Are you the manager? This man dropped my bookshelves and is refusing to pay for them.
I just stare in shock. Seriously? Having realized that a man in bright blue scrubs with a stethoscope and a big RN badge really doesn't work here, instead of apologizing, she chooses to double down on the craziness and now accuses me of breaking her stuff? Before I can voice my denial, the elderly gentleman I'd helped earlier steps in and explains the situation to the manager. Entitled Jerk is still voicing complaints, but the manager realizes the real situation and apologizes to me and the couple. I'm still standing by, watching angrily as the manager deals with Entitled Jerk and inspects the bookshelves. They're not damaged. He offers her 2 new boxes, but Entitled Jerk is now done with the whole situation. She says no, she's already too late because of me, just glares over at me and says to the manager,
"Just load them. I'm already late enough because of this."
The manager and employee then lift the boxes up and get them wedged into the lady's car. As I shake my head and go to enter the store, I'm stopped by the elderly lady I'd helped earlier. Lady: "Sir, thank you so much for helping us with the TV. I'm so sorry some people are so rude." She then reaches for my hand to shake. As she folds both her fragile hands around mine, I can feel something in her palm she's giving me. Lady whispering,
"Don't look yet. Wait till she leaves."
I slide the package into my scrub pocket and lady walks away. Entitled Jerk then gets in her car and without apologizing or thanking anyone, peels out and drives away. I finally enter the store to grab my food items, and when I reach in my pocket, I pull out a plastic bag with a bunch of screws and hardware. I realize immediately that the sweet little old lady took advantage of the commotion to steal the hardware out of Entitled Jerk's ripped box. I couldn't believe it. I had the biggest grin on my face as I did my shopping, and I have a new petty revenge hero to idolize. Next we've got,
"Don't lie to me. You took our picture 3 hours ago. Get to it."
I don't know what it is about me, but I'm pretty good at attracting the Karen types. Cast: names changed to protect the innocent. We've got me. We've got Karen. We've got Lila, the hero manager. We've got Matt, Lila's co-manager. And we've got Oscar, my manager. As mentioned in a previous post, I work for a theme park. Last year, I had just finished my shift and decided to head to the store on property to get a doll I wanted for my collection. Hey, I collect dolls, and I get a sweet discount, so might as well use it. While there's nothing forbidding us from shopping/eating at our parks when we're off of the clock, we're encouraged to take off our name tags and hide our distinctive IDs so we don't get harassed. I take this a step further and actually have a spare shirt that I change into. This time I had a blue Eeyore shirt. Other than that, I'm still wearing my blue shorts, black shoes, and my hair in a falling out bun. So I'm at the shop, holding the doll I wanted and trying to decide if I can afford a second stuffed animal when I heard a very rude,
"Finally, someone to help us."
I ignore it, feeling sorry for the poor employee they're addressing. That's until I feel someone staring at me like they were trying to hypnotize my back. It lasted maybe 10 to 15 seconds. Not going to lie, it felt like 10 to 15 minutes. I looked over my shoulder to see if someone was trying to look at the dolls so I could give them room, which was my fatal mistake. All at once, someone tosses a shirt in my face, and I dropped the doll I had in my hands. When I got the shirt off my face, I found myself staring at a soccer mom, complete with mom jeans, short sleeve shirt, and the "I used to be a cheerleader in high school and have never bothered to grow out of it. If entitlement was a cologne, she'd reek of it."
I need you to get me an extra large, and while you're at it, get me one of those princess dresses in my daughter's size,
she said, more bellowed. Still wanting to be polite because I was at my workplace, I said, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but I don't work here." I pointed to someone who was dressed in the uniform and wearing the distinct name tag who was busy rearranging some stuffed animals just 10 feet away. "But he may be able to help you." I didn't even get a chance to return to my browsing before she pointed an acrylic-tipped finger 2 inches from my face.
Don't lie to me. You took our picture 3 hours ago. Get to it.
Now I'm realizing I'm treading on thin ice. Merchandise is a completely different department than photography, and therefore I couldn't just go back and get what she wanted without getting into trouble. However, unlike the incident at the grocery store, I couldn't sass back. Since she knew who I was, even though I couldn't remember her, she could get me into a lot of trouble since I'm still technically representing the company. As much as I wanted to tell her to take her mom jean self out of my park and never come back, I love my job too much to risk it. Me, taking a deep breath and keeping my voice level. "Ma'am, even if I did work here, I'm off the clock, and there are strict rules about what we can and can't do while we're off the clock." Karen, throwing her head back and looking like a teenager.
So, you're saying you won't help me make my vacation magical?
Me, biting my tongue. "I'm sorry, but I can't. I'll help you find an employee, but that's all I can do." Karen takes a deep breath and moves that finger closer to my face. Just when I'm about to lose my composure and bite at her hand, 2 managers, Lila and Matt, walk up. Matt, "Hi, can we help you ladies?" Karen, moving her finger.
Finally, I want you to fire her right now.
Nat, after getting a good look at me. "Ma'am, she doesn't work here, but I will be happy to help." Karen cuts him off.
Don't you dare protect her, young man. She took our photos 3 hours ago and won't help us get a dress and a t-shirt.
Lila, in a firm voice. "I'll take care of the employee, ma'am. Matt, if you can help our customer." Matt, "Of course." They leave, Karen giving me a,
"You will pay for this."
Before I can even open my mouth, Lila asks in a nice voice, "Are you okay?" Me, "Yeah, I'm just a little shaken." Pick up the doll. "Thank you. I was just looking around when she tossed that t-shirt in my face and started bellowing." Lila, "Someone in the store saw and ran to grab us. I apologize for your experience. Would you need help with anything else?" Me, "Thank you. I'm good and just want to get home." Lila, "Come with me. I'll check you out." She smiles. "Least I can do for a fellow employee." Me, as we're walking. "What gave it away?" Lila, "The way you were pointing. We're taught to point a certain way and never really lose it. Where do you work at?" Me, "I'm a photographer and this is my home park." Lila perks up. "Do you know Oscar?" Me, "Yeah, I know he was merchandise before he joined us. You know him?" Lila, "He trained me. We talked for a few minutes while she checked me out and sent me on my way. The next morning I arrived to work and sure enough, Oscar was waiting for me and asked me to see him. I agreed and went in." Oscar, "I understand there was an incident at the store yesterday." I took a deep breath and explained everything. Oscar listened and waited for me to finish. Oscar, "Just so you know, you're not in trouble. I got an email from Lila explaining what happened and how well you handled the situation. She also wanted me to make sure you're okay." I was relieved beyond belief and went about my day. The smile on my face real. Now, every time I see Lila and Matt, I smile and greet them. Next we've got Entitled Mom Ruins Our School's Halloween Fundraiser. Cast. We've got Entitled Mom, Entitled Kid, me, and Friend 1, girl from my class. Okay, so lately, in preparation for Halloween, our school is selling these little packages of a pencil eraser and a sticker that you can give to your friends with a little note on them. It isn't too appealing for the higher grades, but a lot of the kids want them. They're $1 each, and being part of my school student council, I volunteered to sell them a few days. Basically, selling is going as usual. Every once in a while, a kid comes up and buys one, so we work hard by getting them to the correct class. organizing them, etc. What happens is when the lower grades come out, we suddenly get a ton of customers lining up, so we open multiple counters for selling, with 3 people in each. I'm mainly in the corner, helping record profits, etc. when a kindergartner or a first grader comes up to us and asks to buy. Now, I'm normally not the best with kids, so I ask a girl from my class, the only other person from my class there to deal with them. The conversation sort of goes like, friend. Hi, would you like to buy? Entitled kid. Yes, I want to buy one for all my friends. Friend. Okay, how much money do you have? Entitled kid. I have no money. Sorry, but you need money to buy. Maybe you can go ask your mom or dad when they come? Now, after this, the kid seems to leave to call his mom or something, but then his eye catches on the register where I'm keeping the money. Until now, I'm kind of oblivious to the conversation. I mean, I can hear it and all, but I'm not really participating. Then entitled kid comes and asks, Is that a $20 note? Me, sort of startled and not paying attention. Yeah? Entitled kid. Can I have it? Me. No? So, like he didn't hear me say no, or I said yes, he just grabs the note from the counter, literally ripping it out of the fork thing that's used to hold them straight down. I'm at first startled and reply with, can I have that back, please? It's our money, and you're not allowed to have it. Entitled kid laughs like he's playing a game. Me. Sorry, kid, but I need that back. This isn't a game. At this point, he just starts thinking it's a game or something and running away from me. Now, since he's really little, he's got small legs, and at the speed he's going, he's bound to collapse. And then, bam! That's exactly what happened. I yank the $20 note from him, who has now fallen down, and he bursts into tears and starts screaming his head off, either because he lost the money or he got hurt from the fall, or maybe even both. Even though I'm not the best with kids, I pull him back up and ask if he's okay. He's crying his head off and points to his knee, so I take a look, and it's legit not even scratched. I tell him he's fine. At this point, I just let him go and return to selling. Friend says she'll deal with him and takes care of him, she having seen the whole incident and also chasing him. Then entitled mom approaches, with her kid close in hand. The kid points at me and my friend. Entitled mom gives me the death stare and stomps over to me asking,
Why did you steal money from my son? You have no right to do that.
Friend. Ma'am, I apologize, but we didn't steal money from him. He had no money and tried stealing our $20 note.
Impossible. My son would never do such a thing. He has such great morals.
Friend. Whatever you say, ma'am, but I'm just telling you what happened.
And I'm telling you what's right. Return me that $20 note right now, or I will dissolve your council. I am a part of the Parents Association.
Friend. Ma'am, the Parents Association has no power over us. We are operated by the students and faculty of the school.
Stop calling me ma'am, and return that note.
Literally trying to yank the entire register, and friend 1 resists. Friend, now in tears because she's sensitive. Please stop. Please just stop. Me, now getting mad. Listen, miss, leave us alone. We do not owe you anything, and stop trying to steal from us. We will not give you anything. Understand? Entitled mom.
I will not take orders from you, young man. Call a teacher right now.
The racket gets the attention of the council supervisor who has a talk with her. Basically, the same talk is repeated, except this time the supervisor gets mad and shouts at her, threatening to get her kicked off the PA. She threatens to take her kid out of the school that takes advantage of people's money. The supervisor tells her to go ahead. She shuts up. Ah, yes, victory. A pretty crazy and unusual day, to be honest. Poor friend was completely spooked after that. Just in time for Halloween. And shout out to our re-generals of the day. Chissy Spider, Mumsy's Hideout, The Joking Evie, and Adam. Become tomorrow's re-generals by leaving as many re's as you can in the comments below.